been a crazy couple days, as many of you may know, and I haven't wanted to do this video, but I felt like I needed to because so many people have been praying and for me and my family, and deserve a update of what's going on. But man, it comes so fast that it's hard to keep up with it all, even just explaining it, because of course I had a warrant for my arrest, and it was a civil contempt warrant from the Ada County courts, and it's literally was 100% bogus, meaning that the charge is based upon just basically me speaking publicly about St. Luke's and what they did to baby Cyrus. And so St. Luke's attorneys went to the courts and said that and got a protective order and said that, that I was speaking and intimidating witnesses because I was speaking. But, you can see the videos. I'm just explaining the truth. I mean, you can see the videos on YouTube on this channel, and there's no intimidation there. I mean, it's just explaining what's really going on. And that's what I've been doing. And they want to silence that. So they go to the court, they fabricate a story, and the court believes them and then issues a warrant for contempt. And next thing I know, I got a warrant. So anyway, of course, I'm not going to voluntarily, just turn myself in. That's not what you do when tyrants are trying to use the law against you. You don't comply. I mean, I've heard that time and time, you should just turn yourself in. And no, you don't consent to wickedness when it comes upon you. You don't. That's just wrong. And so that's those type of things are why we're losing liberty in the country and in Idaho, because too many people think that way. So anyway, I didn't, as you know, and I'm not naive. I figured sooner or later, but I had this, and I realize that many people probably already know the story, but my son is in football. He's a senior, and he starts for the Emmett High School team, and he had a fundraiser dinner, and I was going to go to it. I was determined that I was going to go to all his games, and I was going to go to his events, and whatever happened. And so I did, and something happened that I never thought would be possible. It's not the arrest, but here we are in a room of about 200 people, and they're the most influential people in Emmett. We got the mayor, we got the judge, we've got, the coaches, and we've got a lot of business owners. And I go in there and I sit down, and I'm in there for about an hour. They feed us and all that. And the auction is just about ready to go. And I always participate and enjoy it and try to, do my part. Right before it gets started, the auction, I think it had to have been about nine sheriff's deputy and I think a couple city police came into the room, and everybody's just finishing eating, getting ready, they're talking, and they began to walk around the tables, and they're looking for something, and they're kind of spreading around, and everybody's going, what's going on? It was the strangest feeling, the strangest atmosphere. Very, people stopped talking, and they're looking, and everybody's like, what's going on? And these guys are in their, full gear, and they got their guns on, they got their badge on, they got their plates on, full tactical type gear. And then they finally work, and they see me over there on one of the tables far, and they just come over and they surround me. And they want me to, stand up and so forth. And I wasn't gonna make, or do anything to make a scene or nothing. I was disgusted that they would do that to the Emmett football team. Disgusted. And anyway, they end up, handcuffing me. And on my way out, there was a couple people that stood. One was like the principal of the school, and he's like, and they told him, sit down. And he's like, I'm the principal of this school. Like, you're telling, this is our event. Like, you're telling me to sit down? And he goes, this is just uncalled for. I mean, and then there was a few other people that, they tried to order and push off. One of the officers literally put his hand on his gun. Sorry, hopefully you could, but I was just saying one of the officers put his hand on his gun. And anyway, and then when they were escorting me out, the people started booing, boo, boo, and my wife was crying, and my kids have never, ever, I've been arrested, several times, but never in front of my kids, and never in front of my, my kids, and I've never been arrested in front of my wife. And so that was hard. On the way out, the people, a lot of people were booing. I'm not connected. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, I got a yes, you can hear me. So I'll just keep going, just stand right here. Anyway, I wondered if they were booing me or if they were booing the police until I got almost to the door, and then, I could hear people saying, that's uncalled for. They were just disgusted, and it was disgusting. But I want to point something out that should be extremely concerning to the people of Emmett, to the people of Idaho, and to this country, because that very same act that the sheriff's deputies and the city police performed was literally something that the secret police, the SS, the Nazis, police would do all the time, especially in in an occupied country. When there was an event or a party or a celebration, they would go in and they would interrupt it and either do something to interrupt or arrest somebody, which is a typical thing. And they would assert their authority by intimidating people by going in, community parties and events and so forth, fully dressed, and assert their authority. This was a common thing that they did, and the Gem County Sheriff deputies did under the direction of Sheriff Donnie Wonder. And people could say, oh, we're a long ways from that type of thing, but you have to understand, like, even in Germany, no one believed that the police would ever do what they did. No one believed that until they actually did it. And it took a while before them to do it. And the people, you looking back, especially those people that came out of there, said we should have done something. There's an account, I need to get it and I'll reference it. So I'm just going to, I'll probably misquote it. Well, I know I'll misquote it, but it says something to the effect like, we should have used our forks and spoons, anything, to stop them, and we would have saved millions of lives. And so I just, like, we can't, I know that it's an extreme idea to think that the police would ever become like the Nazis. But in America, in Idaho. But what I just saw on Friday and what hundreds of other people in Emmett just saw was extremely familiar to the history of things that happened, under Stalin and under, certainly under Nazi control. And, you can only be warned so much. You can only see the parallels so much. And just allowing that to go on is very, very dangerous. And of course, then they take me out. The deputy roughs me up a little bit. Of course, I'm handcuffed, I'd like to squash the little guy, and I'm very confident I could. But, he has me in handcuffs, so he gets to rough me up a little bit and slam me against the truck a few times and, do their thing. And then they throw me in a cell, and they pretty much left me alone. Once I was in the cell, I was pretty pissed off and cantankerous, and so they just left me in the cell, and they left me alone for a couple days. And I knew that sooner or later they would send me to Ada County. And I don't know if I've ever talked to you, this audience about Ada County, but it's the largest county. It's in Boise. Ada County's been taken over pretty much by a bunch of leftist, homosexual, flaming liberals. And not that the jailers and everything are that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the ones that are in control. And the last 2 times I was in there, arrested and gone in there, actually it wasn't last 2 times, but 2 consecutive times, they threw me in what they call a cold box. Of course, this is their lingo. They don't let people know that, but I heard them multiple times called the cold box, and they pretty much freeze you. And I was in there one time 36 hours, and the other time 32 hours. And when I got out, I literally was to the point of hypothermia. And so I wasn't looking too forward to that. And I ended up just bonding out because had a really awesome individual that was willing to front it. And so I bonded out. And that same day I was arrested, earlier, I had received information from the media, actually, that St. Luke's sued me again. And this time they not only sued me, but they sued my wife. And so today, their whole design is just try to take everything from me. Or put me in a position where I have to fight, and then, they justify coming and shooting me and killing me. And I point out again, like, the extremities of this are pretty great. And the combination of the government and corporations, especially large corporations, combining against people and colluding and bringing power, well, that is the definition of fascism. That is fascism. And we're seeing that right here. We're seeing St. Luke's executives who receive hundreds of millions of dollars a year from the government. And then we see the government, who was highly motivated to take care of this thorn in their thigh, which is, me and others like me. And we see them collude and work together to try to destroy me. But they don't just destroy me, they destroy, my family. And what I mean by that, I guess in this case right now, financially, but how far will it go? So anyway, I went to jail. They arrested me at a football dinner, literally like the SS police And I'm not trying to exaggerate. That's exactly, oh man, the eerie feeling of the, you know, the way they came in the room and how they took it over, and you know, trying to intimidate everybody in that room, and then arresting me and dragging me out in handcuffs. And then, of course, another lawsuit from St. Luke's. And this time involving my sweet, dear wife. And they also sued the people that bought my home. And so I was in court today for that. They actually had a hearing, and we weren't technically invited to that hearing because they're were asking for a protective order, but not for themselves, like protective. They wanted a protective order to seize, or maybe not seize is the right word. I don't know if seize is the right word, but basically to lock up my assets. So I can't buy or sell anything. I can't, really use my, bank accounts, only for just generic things. And that's what they did. And the judge ordered that today. So they locked up all my personal assets. And the whole reason for that is they want to take them. They don't want me to, buy something, sell something, and then they can't take it from me. And this is, again, what they're doing. And you remember, this is all based upon me standing up for a little baby. They and I know that it's not just St. Luke's behind this. I know that this is this whole push because I have been such a thorn in their thigh. I ran for governor, pulled almost 20%. And I've never run a campaign ever before. And that has to concern them, that,